Or I put you on the spot there.
Put me on the spot with that one
Back in London today, heading to the new, again, second new London store I've been to, of Sax.co.uk. So we have a coffee with Dan, with Richard from D'Addario Woodwinds. Alright. Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you? How you doing? Good, good.
How you doing? Alright?
How you doing?
Yeah, very.
Ow.
Boo, boo, boo.
There.
Let's move the camera a little bit further towards you then. Right, welcome to A Coffee with Dan here at the brand new Sax.co.uk. I'll show you a little bit more of that later on, but I'm really pleased that Richard Smedley from D'Addario Woodwinds has agreed to have a coffee with Dan, although you've drunk your coffee already.
I have, yeah. It was an early morning.
And I'm still having mine. Very, very nice coffee here, and also very, very good saxophones.
I have been at D'Addario for 3.5 years now.
Great.
Started in 2015 in sales, and then have shifted across to woodwinds just as someone fires one up.
I have to say, this is going to be interrupted a lot by sounds of saxophones, but as it's a saxophone vlog, you should be kind of used to that. So you play yourself, don't you?
I do indeed.
Yeah.
I play a range of instruments. Woodwind started on clarinet. She made the shift across to the dark side. I play piano as well, guitar, drums, flute as well. So a full range of things, yeah.
Great. Well, someone's stolen a saxophone now. It's even. I mean, literally, it's not been too bad until the moment we started the cameras rolling and then all the sounds start up. D'Addario recently rebranded. They bought Rico, 2004?
2004 was when the acquisition was.
Yeah. And then they've slowly, over the last sort of few years, rebranded a lot of things. People have noticed that their reed boxes have changed.
Yeah, so Select Jazz went from Rico Select Jazz to D'Addario Select Jazz, same with Reserve. And then in the last couple of years, Rico itself and Royal have switched over to Rico by D'Addario, Royal by D'Addario. And packaging's changed as well. The one thing which is always asked, which is we can definitely confirm, is that the cuts haven't changed at all. So the machinery's changed a lot. There's been a lot of investment into that. But the actual design hasn't changed.
So what's the process kind of from a reed being grown? Is it all the reed grown in France, or is it grown in different areas around the world?
There's Argentina as well, yeah. The reason we have the two plantations is because, and they're in the different hemispheres, so that we have a constant supply of cane, because you can only harvest it in the winter.
Yeah.
And it does take a long time to properly harvest this, which involves sunning it, drying it, storing it.
What's this kind of process, kind of from a reed, say, being harvested in the field to it being in the shop? How long does that kind of process take?
It depends, to be honest, because the storage side of it obviously can vary. But it takes, at least sort of 6 months, 8 months to actually to dry it and everything. And it's that point as well where when it goes into the factory in Los Angeles, some of that process can have reeds rejected. So if a reed is too green, for example, and it hasn't been sunned enough, it can be rejected on the new machinery as well. So from that, this is one of the biggest things as well with D'Addario, owning the plantations and having control over all of these processes from the very start into the factory. We have a lot more control over the product and then how we manufacture it as well.
One of the things that often comes up more and more now, and I am putting you on the spot, I'm not asking this question because I literally just thought of it myself, but I have heard about it, and it's something that I've not really stopped to think about, is the environmental aspects of reproduction, you know, kind of how much is renewable, but then also kind of the plastics and the processes of sort of taking the reeds. What are D'Addario aware of that? Are they putting anything in place to sort of be more environmentally friendly?
I mean, in terms of the plantations themselves, there's no pesticides, there's no sort of artificial products that are used in the growing of the cane itself. But D'Addario as a company, it's something they think about. So with the ProMark brand, for example, there's the Play Plant Preserve program, which is more difficult to say. So for every tree that we cut down for ProMark drumsticks, we plant another 5. A lot of the plastic has been taken out of packaging through the other brands as well, and it's something that over the next few years will be looked at with Woodwinds.
Because I was going to say, it must be, I know that other reed manufacturers put their reeds in foil and stuff like that, and obviously we tend to get them in the plastic cases.
Yeah.
But it is cardboard now, you know, in terms of, you know, the boxes. It's certainly something that people on the channel have asked about. Definitely, in terms of kind of what am I doing in terms of my reed impact. I mean, what am I doing in terms of my reed impact when I'm constantly going through lows? Although I've got to say, one of the big things that I have had that's transformed my kind of reed care in the last 3 or 4 years has been the humidity packs. And how that technology has moved on. I remember in the early 2000s getting kind of the pencil case thing, where you kind of load a load of reeds in. Other people have Tupperware boxes and all sorts of different things. It seems now, for me personally, that technology is almost getting there. In terms of, I'm finding more and more reeds can last longer, have a better consistency as they come out, and as I've said before, for me the most important thing is that I'm on a gig, I can pull a reed out of my box that I've prepped, and I know that reed's going to perform at the top level. I'm not going to be going through a load of boxes of reeds to try and do it. And that, despite everyone's kind of protestations about reeds, that has actually, for me, improved a huge amount in the last 15-20 years. Where I am getting consistently better reeds. You know, more and more.
I mean, in terms of the care, it's something that sort of personally and professionally I'd recommend a good sort of gradual breaking process, but then a humidity controlled case is vital to keep those reeds good for as long as possible. Next year we've got, in January, we have Evolution reeds for clarinet and also Evolution mouthpiece for clarinet as well.
Great.
A couple of new B-flat clarinet things.
Right.
Saxophone things in the pipeline as well.
Good.
But I'm not going to say any more.
No, that's fine. We won't, as long as you let us have a review of them, we won't say anything more. So I popped a question up on Twitter the other day. I asked you guys to send me some questions about what you wanted to ask Richard, what you would ask D'Addario reeds, what you've always wanted to know about reeds. A few of you have replied back. So here we go. Michael asked me, he says, a slightly bullshit question, Richard. He says, if I hold a reed up to a lamp, I can guess at its playability or not. For example, the shoulders are overly thick or the heart is poorly defined. It seems like a perennial problem which could be solved with digital imaging at QA. He's an engineer, so I'm going to guess, you know what QA is, it? Or is it QC, quality control?
Yeah.
Is that something, what's your sort of, I mean, I know that's a technical question.
It would be very difficult to hold it up and judge a reed from that. The internal structure it's what makes it something that can be used for music, but it's also one of the biggest variables as well.
Right.
And the vibration of the different particles within there. However, digital imaging is something that we use within the process. I believe it's 8 times it gets photographed around the digital process. On that as well, the process that we have for reeds as well, and this was after about $10 million of investment in the first couple of years after the acquisition of Rico, and D'Addario created the first fully digital reed making process. So the first machine, it comes in as a cane split, which we get from the plantation, cuts it down into the blank, goes into the second machine and makes it into the cut of reed that that it's going to be made into, and it's different cycles for different reeds as well. As I've said, you know, that's then photographed a number of times. There's strength tests along that way.
Another question here from Ryan. He says, could you give advice on maintaining reeds and good reed care, and any tips or tricks on improving a reed's lifespan?
I mean, it starts with that breaking process and a good. Again, this is not sort of a scientific thing. This is from a player perspective and a professional perspective, I guess. A good gradual breaking process is important to start with. The humidity is going to affect a reed. As soon as you open that box of reeds, the humidity is going to start to affect it, and vibration affects it as well. That internal structure. So, I mean, for me personally, sort of soaking a reed that's been, in storage for a while and in a shop for more than 30 seconds is probably not ideal.
Right.
So 30 seconds and a flat surface. Again, one of the humidity control cases is perfect. Flat surface, control that humidity. And when you are starting to break them in and play them, don't overdo it with the reeds. Kind of just rotate them to.
And again, the case helps with that because you can have 8 reeds, I think, in the current case, can't you? What's the kind of principal difference between, say, we were talking about in Michael's question in terms of he's saying you can hold it up, you can see the differences. I certainly noticed that, say, on an unfiled reed, where sometimes the balance can look off on the reeds, it doesn't look symmetrical.
Right.
Whereas on a filed, it tends to be. And I've certainly found that whilst I can sometimes prefer the sound or the response of an unfiled reed, the filed reeds certainly seem to have a better quality controls, or more. Sorry, maybe the best statement is it's more consistent.
Right,
filed reeds than the unfiled reeds. Is that down to the filing process? Is that what's going on? Is that digitally done, or is that?
I mean, it's all digitally done.
Or have I put you on the spot there?
Put me on the spot with that.
That's fine. That's me being an old.
I mean, there's not really a difference in process at the start of those reeds. So up until the file is just an extra process.
Yeah. What D'Addario, or particularly to D'Addario Woodwind, what are the sort of hopes for the next few years for what you're trying to bring to players? What are the sort of goals for the company in that sense?
I mean, the consistency thing has been a massive thing for the company since it started. I think coming from guitar background and another instrument background, to look at it and say, well, players are accepting 3-4 reeds in a box that work and the rest don't. That was a big thing. So we're starting to get players who are getting 8-9 reeds in a box. But everyone seems to be saying, I'm getting many more consistent reeds in a box. So that is a big thing, and those processes that we've put in place, both on reeds and on mouthpieces, is a big thing for us as well.
Well, Richard, thank you very much for your time. It's been great.
Pleasure.
I'm sure there will be lots and lots of comments
below
this
we should do a
from
follow-up.
different people. We will definitely do a follow-up. It's been great meeting you here. It's been great looking around the shop. I just want to have 5 minutes. Well, it's going to be about an hour with my mouthpiece and some reeds and lots of saxophones to play. So it's been great. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.
D'Addario have a channel, don't they? Which I'll link to below. Is that the main channel, or do you have a UK
channel,
one? Yeah, a main one. And there's loads of videos on there. I shared one the other week on my Facebook page about the reed production process. I think you've got people like Chris Potter and Melissa O'Donnell and all those kind of people on that. So far bigger endorsements than me. It's been really, really good. And thanks for your time, Richard.
No problem.
Cheers.
Thank you, Dan.